Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Banished Big Brother. I'm Zach Varnell, and I'm here, as always, with Elizabeth Melton.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a guest tonight. So tonight's guest is one of those guys who can't help but poke the hornet's nest. He's built a career chasing down stories that don't get told anywhere else. This is Jake Green. He's a documentary filmmaker and the founder of Peaceful Sea Productions. And he has a body of work that range from a Wrexham AFC podcast hosted by a diehard Texan who has no business having an opinion on Welsh football, all the way to true crime investigations into police misconduct. He's also the host of Liberty Libations, a weekly show digging into current events and culture with zero filter. And if you've ever caught one of his conversations, you know he's got a ton to take on just about everything. And also, to add to the intro, you're working with the Ludlow Institute. Is that right?
Yeah. I do some contract work for the Ludlow Institute.
Cool. Well, as always, we'll just jump straight into the stories, and it'll just be the three of us, chatting and going over the latest craziness.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, the first one's actually not the latest craziness. This is some older stuff that you may be familiar with from back in the day. So this is a 2013 article. Virtual Bitcoin mining is a real-world environmental disaster. Let's see if I can blow this up so I can read it. All right, and the parts that I highlighted, I just thought this was interesting. We'll connect it back to modern day here in a second. But it's just saying, this is where mining comes in. Mining is a process in which powerful computers create Bitcoin by solving processor-intensive equations. The idea is to keep the supply of Bitcoin from multiplying too quickly. Bitcoin mining, like mining of precious metals, is supposed to be arduous. By design, the more miners there are, the more processing power is required to mint new coins. And then later here in the article, it says the trade-off here is that as virtual value is created, real-world value is used up. About 982 megawatt hours a day, to be exact. That's enough power to roughly power 31,000 homes in the U.S., or about half a Large Hadron Collider. If the dreams of Bitcoin proponents are realized and the currency is adopted for widespread commerce, the power demands of Bitcoin mines would rise dramatically. If that makes you think of the vast efforts devoted to the mining process of precious metals in the centuries of gold and silver-based economies, it should. One of the strangest aspects of the Bitcoin frenzy is that the Bitcoin economy replicates some of the most archaic features of the gold standard. Real-world mining of precious metals for currency was a resource-hungry, value-destroying process. Bitcoin mining is too. And then here's another one. Bitcoin mining on track to consume all the world's energy by 2020. Don't think that happened. Let's see. I don't have anything highlighted in this one. I think I was just for the headline.
The headlines.
Yes. And even Zero Hedge, which I think... I pulled this one up more for the chart, but it said, will Bitcoin mining consume all the world's current electricity production by February 2020?
Goodness.
And then they have... Where is it? Maybe this was the chart.
It's an exponential chart.
Yeah. Anyway, they had some pretty charts. I forget which one I actually wanted to look at. But I just thought this was funny when you compare it now. Oh, maybe this is the one. Oh, yeah, it's different countries and if they use more or less electricity than Bitcoin mining. So Bitcoin mining uses more electricity than all of Greenland and all of Mongolia. Yeah, maybe more now.
Greenland's like 10 people. Yeah. So, be that big of a deal.
All right, now contrast this real quick to what we're seeing today. And I don't really have an article pulled up for this as much, but we just know what's going on with these AI data centers. They're now rapidly expanding the electricity grid. It's gone from, oh, how dare this thing need so much energy? Don't you know that's going to kill the environment? To, what do we need to do to give this thing the electricity it needs? Have you noticed that at all? Or like... what's the deal when it's something they don't like? will attack it. But now I don't see the environmental concern quite as much,
Yeah.
or at least not in usage of power. I know people are talking about the water and things like that, but
Yeah.
There's a definite people that don't like it that are trying to stop the data centers. They definitely are concerned about the energy, but the powers that be aren't for some reason.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
what I was getting at there. It's like we're not seeing Newsweek articles now, or instead we're seeing like here on WhiteHouse.gov they have this huge plan for building an American AI infrastructure and developing a grid to match the pace of AI innovation. So that seems to be now the route that we're going.
Yeah. I mean, just contrasting those two things alone should tell you exactly what is good and what isn't. Like what is going to be good for the regular citizen, what's going to be good for the population, and what won't be good for the population. Um, the amount of hate and articles and things that people wrote about Bitcoin and people still write about Bitcoin consuming too much electricity is wild when not nearly as much scrutiny is placed on these AI data centers. And it's yeah, there's something in that, and people need to definitely look into that a little more.
Well, so for example, Elizabeth Warren, she was one of the ones that was pearl clutching about Bitcoin. Is she talking about AI data centers? Is she out there
Right.
vocally against them the way that she was Bitcoin? I mean, I don't know. Maybe she is, but it's a interesting question.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's people don't saying that like all the Bitcoin being mined, or at the time that article was written, is equivalent to 31,000 homes. Well, just we have more than 31,000 banks that are on the grid every single day, turned on, full AC, full power, consuming all this electricity, but they're not worried about those guys. They're only worried about the ones that are going to threaten what the dollar stands for and what the dollar is valued at, and that would be Bitcoin, not
or increase
AI.
your freedom. That seems to be part of it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin increases your freedom, and we can see coming down the road that these AI data centers are going to be used for nefarious shenanigans like surveillance.
Yes. Yeah. You would have thought that at the beginning of Bitcoin, when so many people, I mean, millions and millions of people still don't understand it at all, but especially at the very beginning, you would have thought that the government would have loved it because of the fact that it's an open ledger and you can see where everything is going. Now, obviously, since the beginning, now there's incredible privacy tools based around Bitcoin. So all that stuff kind of went by the wayside, though they have tried their hardest to keep those privacy tools from being developed and distributed. As we interviewed a woman on our show last week whose husband is in jail for 5 years for creating a privacy tool for Bitcoin.
Yeah, Samurai Wallet.
Samurai Wallet, yeah. And so, yeah, you're perfectly correct. It's the amount of freedom around being able to transact with who you want, when you want, with no intermediary is quite a big threat to anybody who's trying to control your money, which is your labor.
Yeah. And it's not also just the media response of, Bitcoin bad because of electricity or whatever the reason du jour is, but, somewhat suspiciously quiet about these hyperscale data centers. But it seems to be like this pace in which things are going, where it's like, what was it, like last year, a year and a half ago, we got like ChatGPT 3 and it was awful. And, it was like kind of just like a party trick. And now it's mind blowing, and things are being built around me in my neighborhood to prepare for data centers being built here. It's like that is a rapid pace for government to move at. It's like I see them putting fiber out here, which we've been wanting fiber for years and years. And now that, cable is kind of caught up and isn't that bad, now they're finally doing it. And then, I talked about on the show last week, it's like they're building these gigantic power poles, and I guess they're transmission lines or something they're huge like pylons. Like if you've ever played StarCraft or something, you need more pylons.
Nice.
But, they're just like going in people's front yards and in their backyards and probably destroying their property value. And now we also see things like they're bringing back nuclear plants. Like, it's cool again, nuclear's no longer scary, and they're bringing old ones back online. Like this article from Reuters says, 3 Mile Island nuclear plant reboot fast-tracked for 2027. And then another one, Dwayne Arnold restart, could help meet Iowa's growing power demands. And if I won't play this video, but I played it, and like literally they just launch into talking about the needs of AI right away. It's like, it's not even like, air conditioners or whatever. It's like, yeah, we need to restart this nuclear plant. So.
Well, you mentioned something about the media basically not even covering it, but they actually are covering it being pro data center. Just like the stories that we covered about the propaganda that people that hate the data centers are Antifa, or they're Chinese spies or Chinese influenced. They're actually covering it in the opposite way that they cover the energy regarding Bitcoin.
Yeah, they really are. I don't understand. I do understand. I think most of the media we've seen has been pretty much captured and just kind of takes orders and aren't actual journalists that look into things. And so I think if you had a media class that actually functioned properly, I don't think you'd be seeing any of these articles that are coming out. Because what's interesting is, so the clip you didn't play just then. So I've seen so many of those interviews where they assume, like from the beginning, it's just they assume that the data centers are needed. Mm-hmm. Like the people making them just say, well, we have to have the data centers. Like that's just a necessity. Well, what's the necessity for? Like, why do we need these AI data centers? Is it actually a necessity? Because I don't know. Humanity's gotten along pretty well without them for thousands of years. So what exactly is the need for it? Because according to a lot of people, it's a ton of people out. I don't think is being reported on very much, or very consistently at least. So I don't know. It's weird to have them just start with an assumption that the data centers are a necessity to living life these days.
It's not even a question. Yeah.
And I'm definitely not one that's against AI in general. And, I find a lot of cool uses out of it. But it does seem suspicious when they're like, all right, we need to ramp this thing up dramatically, when it's like, okay, then what are you preparing for? Because I don't think you're preparing just to give me higher quotas on Claude Code. There's like something else coming down the road that you're not telling us.
Yeah. And why is the government in particular pushing it? So I don't know if y'all have seen where Erin Brockovich has gotten involved with the data center thing. Yeah. And I saw on her website, so she started out with, okay, these are confirmed data centers and these are data center proposals, like the different levels. And then she had basically her followers report stories of where they have heard of data centers, and she has like 8,000. There are 8,000 reports of data centers going up in different places. 8, and so it's crazy how you cannot tell me that that's just so people can use Chat GPT. They don't care about us. They don't care about us that much.
Can you imagine if all of that was just dedicated to ChatGPT spewing out emails for people that don't want to write them?
Yeah, here's that map. So I guess this is all. So 33 operational, built and running, 65 under construction, 42 proposed. And then I guess it says 8,106 community reported. So I don't know exactly what that means, but
Interesting.
even without that, that's still a lot.
That's a lot. There are really a lot in Texas.
Yeah, there's several states that are definitely leading the pack. It's like Texas, Virginia, Georgia.
It's like Michigan and Wisconsin. They have a bunch. Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
As you should expect, there's not as many in the desert areas. Yeah, though there's a big one being proposed by Mr. Wonderful.
Who's that?
Kevin O'Leary.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, he's the one too that said that if you're against it, it's like Chinese propaganda, or that China is funding people being against it, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's what he said, and he names people, and they're like, he's like, "Who's this person? I've never heard of this group. I've never heard of this organization." And then those people respond, and they're just people from Utah.
Yeah. Honestly, and the things about the nuclear plants, it's not that I'm also against nuclear, and I'm kind of glad that we're getting nuclear power and expanding the grid and things like that. Those are things that I feel like we should have been doing maybe for a while. It's just the weird urgency that we're doing it with now is suspicious to me. And I don't know. Is there anything except it's just going to be for surveillance that could justify or explain this? Like, I understand there's the conversation of, it's going to replace a bunch of jobs, and even Elon Musk says it's going to provide universal high income, but I just don't see that happening. And I don't think that they're doing all this and building this off of a hunch that someday we'll get there.
Right. Yeah. Look, Elon's great, obviously, at a million different things. That dude's a super genius. I don't like, and he'll quote some libertarian economists every now and then, some Austrian economists every now and then, but I don't think he actually understands the economics at a base level. Like the things you were talking about earlier in a couple of those articles where they're talking about how the amount of time and labor that it takes to get minerals out of the ground, and thank goodness we stopped doing that as much and transitioned to a different currency or whatever they said. It's like it's the time and the labor put into those things is what makes them valuable. And so like a universal high income, well, where's that income coming from? Like if it's just created by AI at the drop of a hat and nothing is actually created and no labor is expended, then it's infinitely reproducible and is basically useless and meaningless. Like I don't know. I would like to know what his full argument is for that proposal, because I agree. I don't see how that could possibly happen just because AI is around doing a bunch of stuff.
Well, and if resources are centrally controlled and distributed with the intention that, the AI is going to create all of this wealth, and therefore we can afford to make everyone wealthy. Well, if you have only certain people in charge of distributing that wealth, well, that gives them an awful lot of control over everybody else.
Yeah.
So, then you can bet your bottom dollar that only the people that they approve of are going to be the ones to get that. You're going to have to jump through hoops. You're going to have to mind your manners, do exactly what they say if you want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
What is it? Larry Ellison said citizens will be on their best behavior.
Right. Those are the people that will be wealthy.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I heard him say that, and I immediately thought of Texas for some reason, because something about Texas, or at least a stereotype, but it's fairly real if you get out of the major cities. Um, People are generally on their best behavior, or just at least not terrible behavior, because everyone there has a gun. And like you just don't mess with Texans or their property. And the difference, though, is that those people who have the guns in that scenario are private citizens, literally just protecting their own property and their own land, rather than an authoritative government just crushing you with their thumb and their taxes and all that kind of stuff. That's the massive difference between the two.
I think what he really means is citizens will more easily roll over when we mess with them.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one I just thought was interesting. I don't know that this one has anything to do with AI or surveillance even, but NASA Department of Energy to develop lunar surface reactor by 2030, which, I mean, that's a crazy timeline. That's a few years away, that they want to build a nuclear reactor on the moon.
Have we even been on the moon lately? I mean, wouldn't like getting there be kind of a first step before planning to build things?
Maybe like creating a base, just have somebody live there for like 10 days to start before we start talking about reactors.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the idea would be that nobody would actually be there. Maybe it'd be a completely autonomous thing, but I don't know. I don't think blowing up, obviously, I don't think they're going to blow up, but
somebody has to be there to build it, though. Like, you're going to have to be there for an extended amount of time. Look, I'm for interesting energy alternatives. Yeah. Like, I'm a huge fan of nuclear. I think that is exactly what we should be doing. So few people have been injured or died from nuclear reactor incidents. Yeah. It's like 40 people total have been severely injured or died because of nuclear reactor incidents. Like, it's just not. Yeah. Go ahead.
They're basically meltdown proof now, but is all that true on the moon? I mean, I have no idea. I'm sure they. I guess the physics are about the same. Maybe a little less gravity, a little less atmosphere, but
yeah, I mean, less oxygen, probably less likely to explode.
Just don't mess with the moon, man. I like looking at it. I like the waves and the tides. I don't want there to be like some crazy disaster on the moon.
That would be wild. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it says, I mean, NASA and DOE anticipate finishing it, and it would be capable of producing safe, efficient, and plentiful electrical power that will operate for years without the need to refuel.
Tell me what years means. Tell me what plentiful means. Tell me why you think it's going to be that year that it gets made. Like, I don't know. They've been constructing the 285 highway in Atlanta for 77 friggin' years. Like, there's no way they're going to get a nuclear reactor done on the moon by 2030.
Well, the project, the nuclear project in Georgia, Plant Vogtle, that was supposed to create abundant energy like forever. If we just get this nuclear plant up and running, we will have plentiful energy for everyone as far as the eye can see. Well, right. Now it is, after many, many years of being a boondoggle, now it is finally up and running, and they're like, oh, this is barely scratching the surface of what we're going to need. Well, why is that? I mean, data centers, could that have something to do with it? Because I don't see anything else that could explain why that is now no longer, is everyone turning their air conditioning down to 56 instead of
it's all those
recommended 78?
It's all those movies being made in Georgia, Elizabeth. Those movies take up so much power.
That must be it.
Well, part of me does wonder with, especially these bold claims like the nuclear reactor on the moon in the next few years. Is this just a way to funnel money into a bunch of contractors' pockets? Like you're like, hey, we're gonna do this big, bold, crazy initiative, and we're gonna explore space, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna require billions and trillions of dollars that'll probably more or less disappear, and the thing will not get built in our lifetime. And I think the same thing might be true for just AI generally sometimes when people are like, we need to invest massively in what? In AI, of course, just this nebulous concept of artificial intelligence needs lots and lots of money thrown at it. And it's going to make a lot of people rich. And whether or not any of the claims come to reality, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, war's a racket. I feel like any massive government project is a racket. People end up making a ton of money off of it. It ends up taking way longer than promised. And it's always subpar in the end. So you very well could be right. I don't know. It just, people have friends and people want to pay their friends and make sure their friends get what they think they deserve. And it's, it doesn't end well for the American public in either scenario.
No. So now we'll be sending money to space on top of every country on Earth. So.
Yeah. How long, once we've actually populated the moon with a nuclear reactor, how long before we're fighting wars over who owns the moon?
Yeah.
Oh well, we do. That we own everything in space. The United States does. They put that in writing. That yes, they own anything in space. I actually think it was before Trump. Wow. I wish I could remember exactly what that was, but yeah, there are things that have been put in writing by the United States government saying that anything in space, we own it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's one of the ones where it's like, you don't own what you can't defend. It's like, if I'm able to go up into space and I claim it, it's mine. As long as I'm there with my laser gun or whatever to keep you off of it.
100%, man. That's exactly right. Like, yeah, if we claim it and somebody starts threatening it, well, all our troops better prepare to be astronauts because that's what's about to happen.
Speaking of just space age tech, here's some more. So this is from the Government Accountability Office. Their Science and Tech Spotlight, data centers in space. So this is another thing, like, maybe this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but you can see where their head is at and what they're planning for on government websites here. It says space-based data centers would place data processing and storage systems for AI and other computing needs into satellites. This would reduce land, electricity, and water need for data centers on Earth. Several companies have already begun development of data centers in space, but there are engineering and economic barriers to deployment. Wow. Yeah, I would think so.
Economic barriers. That's so shocking.
But here's, I guess, the general design is basically they would have big solar panels on satellites and then a little cluster of 100 or so, it says CPUs or GPUs. I mean, hopefully they're going GPUs.
They better be going GPUs. Yeah. What's the temperature in space? Can you look that up? Like, because that's what all the water is used for, is for cooling down these data centers. Yeah. So I'm interested because it would be able to have basically 24-hour sunlight, which, like direct sunlight, which has to be very efficient up in space. And then if it is cold, that would be the cooling mechanism. Like, that actually doesn't sound like the worst solution to this problem. If people are actually worried about consuming resources here on Earth.
Well, another thing about space too is it's harder to like bomb one. It's harder to vandalize one. It's harder to take one out.
I mean, other countries could do it. I think, like Russia could shoot our satellites out of space or vice versa. But I guess that's more of an act of war rather than an act of resistance. But
who knows? I might be able to do something from my mountain at some point in time.
Yeah.
Well, it's my understanding that, of course, we know that flock cameras are being cut down left and right, but I'm hearing also that data centers are being vandalized and people are, it's like they'll have like wire and copper and things like that, and people are stealing it. And yeah, so if you're building something in space like that, you're not going to have you're not going to have security issues to deal with.
That's
So
true.
from what I'm reading about temperature in space, is there is no temperature in space because there's no matter to heat up or cool down. So I guess what the satellite itself might get hot or cold, but it wouldn't be hot or cold around it, which still seems like, maybe a distinction without it, or a difference distinction. I don't know, one of those, because it would
Interesting.
fly in front of the sun and be like, super hot, and then it would fly in the shadow, and the satellite itself would be super cold. So that doesn't
Right.
seem very conducive to a data center to like wildly fluctuate
No.
its temperature.
No,
Plus,
that
there's all the
sounds terrible.
radiation.
Oh yeah, that's true. Lots of radiation. Huh.
But I guess that's why these places need, billions and billions of tax dollars to solve these problems.
I guess so. Interesting.
Right. So here's another. Yes, this is the same thing, I guess. I guess this is just to show that it's actually happening. So this is a press release from PR Newswire about Overview Energy. Overview Energy and Meta announced today a first of its kind agreement and partnership to advance American-built space solar energy with initial orbit demonstration in 2028 and commercial power delivery in 2030. So actually, this is a little different. This isn't AI in space or data centers in space. This is them beaming solar power down to Earth from space. And there's an actual company that's now partnered with Meta that's going to do it. So they are going to, I guess, beam big beams of light down to solar panels on Earth.
At night?
I have no idea. Well, maybe I have no idea. Honestly, no clue how that would work. I mean, I guess it could be like geostation. No, it wouldn't work because then it would have day and night. Maybe it would just not be day and night. It would always be in the sun. I have no idea.
Dude, that's wild, man. Because I know on my show we've talked about that company where you can order sunlight wherever you are. What is that going to do to the Earth? Like when people start ordering sunlight or beaming these things down to solar panels, like in the middle of the night, are you just going to wake up and it's going to be as bright as day? Like, I feel like that's going to have some extremely negative consequences on humanity and just like individual humans.
I mean, it reminds me of like a kid with a magnifying glass, like scorching ants or something. Just.
Dude, that's exactly what it is.
Well, that's an alarming thought.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to weaponize it. I wish I wouldn't have even had the idea in case I just gave it to them. Yeah. I mean, there's already the idea of rods from God where they would just put tungsten rods in space and then drop them on whatever country they don't like at the moment, and it would basically have as big of a blast as a nuclear bomb, I think. But there'd be no fallout. I think there's reasons why that would be, I don't know, just not as good. I can't think of it. Like, just it wouldn't work very well, and I think part of it is getting those into space would require like as much energy as like that bomb would put off anyway. So you might as well just lob a bomb at them. But the thing is, they are thinking of ways to weaponize space, and if frying us with a giant, what is it, beam of light is one of them, they might try that. Who knows?
Well, the funny thing is that it's like in a lot of places, if you want to have a yard sale, you have to get permission to do it. they regulate yard sales in some places, but they're not going to regulate people that want to scorch the earth with high powered solar beams.
Well,
It's like, I mean, who's in charge of this? Who's
hopefully they're
allowing
not.
this to happen?
Hopefully they're not scorching it. Those were my words, but I mean, I guess
Well,
they're saying they'll beam them to a solar panel.
they're directing this sunlight to solar panel. It's like Jake just said, what kind of repercussions is this going to have on the average individual, on our
Yeah.
quality of life? You already can't see the stars in the city. It's like, who's in charge of this?
Yeah.
They're, yeah, they need to be asking some questions, I think.
Well,
Yes, please.
all of this kind of sets up too some of these stories. I think you may have seen this one already on your show or talked about it, where Lockheed Martin apparently teased a magical classified project that will be game changing. And I do think that this one was taken a little bit out of blown out of proportion, and people were thinking it had to do with actual magic because the person said magical. But it sounds like he's talking about a, quote unquote defense project that will be game changing for their shareholders. But there's that, and then there's, oops, what did I just do? Let me get this screen back.
Are you sure Lockheed Martin isn't getting into the magic game right now? They're not just becoming magicians?
I am not sure. Let's see. This was the transcript. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the guy was addressing shareholders and said, sorry, I don't know if it's you, Jake, or Elizabeth. Somebody's like, it was really loud.
Is your phone out in the wind? It sounds like the
Okay.
wind blowing.
That's all right. We're good now. Now I don't hear it, but it was
My bad, yo. That was
no
me.
problem. All right. It says, by the nature of something this magical status, I would call it, we probably won't be able to talk about what it is for many years to come. So, I don't know. It's fun to speculate about what some of this might be. And then there was also this story where this guy says that the White House says it has tech that can manipulate time and space. Again, he just said that in a speech, so I'm not sure that he literally meant that they have like the TARDIS or something. But
right.
It does seem to hint at that they have crazy technology, or at least developing crazy technology that we're not going to get to know about for a while.
Isn't that kind of like common knowledge, though, that by the time things roll out to us, they have already had it and been using it for a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's generally accepted, I think. And also, like, saying they have something that can manipulate time and space, that's so vague. And you can, all these people are like PR people that are professionals with words, and you can just make that, you can make anything sound like it manipulates time. Like my van manipulates time and space. As I pass through space, it manipulates it, and I can get somewhere faster, therefore manipulating time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's saying dumb, vague things like that is not indicative of anything. And then half the time they don't ever follow through on what they say is going to be developed and stuff. So I take all that stuff with a grain of salt, like magical Lockheed Martin crap, like years to come. Okay, great. Why are you telling us about it now?
Yeah.
Well, and that is another thing, though, about why we need data centers. We need data centers for all of these magical things that we're going to do, all of these wonderful inventions for humanity. And even though those things are in the future, we need the data centers now, but it doesn't have anything to do with surveillance. Just forget about that. That's not it. Yes.
Well, I did read some people's speculation on what Lockheed Martin was talking about, and most of them assumed it was either some sort of plane or a missile. So nothing that's really going to benefit us in any way. I don't know. But
No. I mean, a plane might.
Probably not. I mean, we're not going to get to fly on the Lockheed Martin plane.
Yeah,
And also, probably not going to benefit us. Like, how the F-35, pretty cool, but they've spent bajillions of dollars, and it's probably not as good as the old stuff.
Yeah, giant waste of time. Yeah. That's like the ultimate case study in putting a bunch of brand new tech into something, like cutting edge tech, where it just sucks. That's like most electric cars. Yeah. Like, they're all shiny and new, and when you first get them, they're great. And then within a year, they're taking an hour to boot up because the whole thing's run on a freaking computer that's ancient now.
Yeah. I mean, really just modern cars in general with all the crap they have in them. It's like, I really want someone to build like a Chevy S10, but a 2026 model. None of the technology, same stuff, like just old cars, but new.
Yeah, no, let's go with Chevy Silverado diesel, 3.5 tons.
Just all of them.
Yeah, just something big that doesn't have a computer in it.
Yeah, bring them back, all of them. I want a Chevy Cavalier. I want
a Toyota Camry. Yeah.
All right, let's see. What else do I have here? All right, so this one we found interesting because you're in Montana, and it was one of the states that passed privacy laws to protect brain data collected by devices. Is that something you followed at all?
I saw the headlines for it. I didn't read into them very much because it seemed weird, and I didn't have time.
Yep. I mean, that was my thought too, is like when I see this, I'm like, wait, why do we need a law for that? Like, are they just really getting ahead of the curve here? Or is this happening today? And it seems like this is something that's already happening a bit.
Well, did we not watch a video about that, about Nita Farahani? I can never remember her name correctly. And she's talking about they have the ability basically to capture your brain waves and translate it into something that they can see. And they have that ability now. She very clearly said they have that ability now.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how closely related it is, but there's been like the idea of the Tempest attack for a very long time, where they're able to read the waves that come off of the electricity pulses in your computer monitor or your keyboard or things like that and reconstruct it. And I think for a while it was pretty much like like an attack that was theoretical and very hard to pull off. And, people speculate as, maybe the NSA can do it or something. But with AI, they've been able to way accelerate the successfulness of the Tempest attack, where they can just kind of read the waves coming off of your monitor and recreate the image of what you're looking at. So I do wonder if something like that is possible with brainwaves as well.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's nothing new either.
Yeah, and the waves from your router, they can use AI to determine where you are in your house, what position you're in, and so forth. And it's
once I build my big house, it's going to be made of lead.
Just wire everything, no wireless. Just get whatever
that's how
the latest standard is and wire your house for it.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening. There's very little wireless in my house.
Let's see. So it said, Montana is among the states that have recently required safeguard for brain data. And the devices include headphones, earbuds, and other wearable consumer products that aim to improve sleep, focus, and aging by measuring electrical activity and sending the data to an app on your phone. All right, reading my brain waves and sending it to an app. How is that going to help me not age? Is it going to be like, hey, stop doing stressful things?
Like, pretty much. I mean, pretty much. That's what half those wearables do. Like, I used to have an Apple Watch. I used to have a Whoop strap. I used to have all these things that would measure all this data, including my sleep data. And like, I found some of it to be very useful and kind of motivating, especially if you're trying to get in shape. Like the Apple Watch is pretty dang good for that, and so is the Whoop strap. But man, constantly looking at all that data just is overwhelming. And then you think about, like, is it good for me to have something constantly penetrating my wrist just over and over again all day long? Just something right there. And yeah, there are definitely like mattresses now that collect data while you sleep. They have headbands, like sleeping masks and stuff like that will collect data from your brain. Like, hey, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. This says, I tried to hack my brain waves to improve my sleep from Wirecutter, and it shows a woman with a headband on and some like earbud looking things. And I didn't really get into this, but I guess it's reading her brain waves to help her sleep better.
You know what helps me sleep better? Just smoke some weed before bed and you're good to go.
Well, if I had to give her advice, it's probably stay off your phone, don't drink caffeine, and have a big long day where you do lots of stuff, and then you sleep
There we
well.
go.
So
there we go. Yep.
So I just pulled that out to show. I guess it's not all theoretical. Like I was kind of like, hey, this isn't really happening, but now there are devices already to do these things. And then we talked about this on, I think, like the first episode of the show. Chinese primary school. Well, I don't know if. Yeah, okay, 6 years old. So Chinese primary school halts trials of devices that monitor pupils' brainwaves. And so a trial involved the primary school pupils wearing a head-mounted device that monitored their attention spans because apparently pissed off the parents. And it got sent to a computer system at Zhaosheng Primary School in China. And some of the data was shared with parents, according to the state-run newspaper. So it's like, hey, why are you complaining? We're giving you the data, too.
Right.
Oh, and this was great. It's all my highlights went away, but this was part of a trial for this device that was created by an American company. So, guess like that won't fly in America. So let's go read children's brains in China.
I mean, that, like, if you want to do something as an adult, I think you might be dumb, but you're allowed to do it. But if you're starting to put these things on children, like without any long-term studies of the effects of, like, actual physical effects of these things, like, screw that, man. Like, don't put this stuff on your kids. That's a really bad idea. Like, even just wireless headphones. Enough with the wireless stuff. The signal and the signal has to get there somehow, and everything has a little bit of radioactivity, or is it radioactivity or electric, whatever it is. Nothing wireless is good for you, and so giving that to children just seems like a massive mistake on the parents' part, or the government's part, I guess, in that case.
Well, I think a lot of this technology is going to be implemented kind of a good way that they try to start this is through your employer. So, like the brainwave stuff that they were talking about at the World Economic Forum is for truck drivers to make sure that they don't fall asleep. And so that's how they introduce it.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep your job, it's perfectly 100% voluntary unless you want to keep your job. And then,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, they're saying they're going to require those cameras in all cars starting in, like, isn't it next year or something like that?
Yeah. To manufacture them.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be a requirement. Yeah.
That will be disabled as soon as they're already in Teslas. Have you seen what people are doing to get around the Teslas? No. Somebody started 3D printing little realistic heads, and you can just suction cup them right in front of the camera.
Well, so I'm thinking that most cars have an average of 24 cameras on them. So it's going to be a matter of knowing where all the cameras are. And then you have to think about the microphones. So how are we going to... block the microphones. So yeah, and then they'll just make it to where it's illegal to thwart with the cameras in any way.
Yeah. Yep. Which they can definitely do that.
All right. Well, we're coming up on the end here. So first, I want to see Elizabeth. Is there anything that you have to talk about for any of your projects going on right now, or anything with Banished Big Brother going on right now?
Well, I know that there is going to be a no ALPR rally in Atlanta. I believe that is going to be August the 16th. And so I think that there are going to be some Banished Big Brother folks there, hopefully. Nice. So, yeah, that's all that I can think of in the near future.
Heck yeah.
Okay. And then what do you got going on, Jake? Or just tell us about, your shows or really anything you want to talk about right now.
Yeah, so I'm failing miserably at releasing episode 3 of one of my shows, Cascade, which is the biggest show on the network. A true crime thing.
Hey, hold on real quick. You're breaking up a little bit, and this is important, so I want people to be able to hear it. Yeah. I know your show, The Cascade Effect, I know is what you said, but other people wouldn't know because I was... All right, try again.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I'm trying to release episode 3 of The Cascade Effect, which is my true crime podcast investigating police crimes in Cascade County, Montana. It should have been released 4 weeks ago. We're dealing with a lot of stuff. So, and and then every Thursday night we got Liberty Libations, which is a fun roundtable with me and a few other folks. We have some interesting guests on from time to time. We have a fun trivia game that's about to be moved to after the show. It'll be the after show. It'll be a lot of fun, hosted by Zane Placey. And those are the two big ones that I'm working on nonstop at the moment.
Cool. So Peaceful Sea Productions or Peaceful Sea Network on YouTube, which is it? I forget.
Yeah, Peaceful Sea Network, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, Peaceful Sea website, all of that.
Cool. And we'll put all that in the episode descriptions too. So peacefulsea.network and then Peaceful Sea Network on YouTube, Rumble, and all that. Cascade Effect and Liberty Libations. Just to reiterate, because you're still breaking up a little bit, but
yeah.
All... Darn.
Do not take this quality to indicate anything about the shows that we produce.
Well, you also work with the Ludlow Institute, which a lot of people who would be watching this are probably very familiar with Naomi Brockwell and the things that she does in the name of privacy. So, yeah, we very much appreciate the role that you play in that as well, and helping people to come up with ways that they can have more privacy in their life.
Heck yeah, she is awesome. She's so great to work for. She's very diligent, organized, and has tons of great ideas. And she's a go-getter. I interviewed her at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas a couple months ago, and we'll be releasing that on our platform here in the next couple weeks.
Sweet. All right, so just to close out, we got one more story to talk about. I thought this would be interesting for you, Jake. So FIFA turned every World Cup player into a digital twin. So have you seen any of this where like every player got a full body scan, and this is like a digital version of the World Cup going on at all times in basically real time? And then what is the system they're able to use now to like call offsides and things like that?
It's called VAR. I forget what the actual like tech is that they use, but they use some wild tech, and I don't find it particularly reliable. There have been times there's a sensor in the ball now to sense when somebody touches the ball, but there's been multiple times where you can see with your own eyes that the person does not touch the ball, but there is a blip on the little graph, and they'll call the penalty based on the blip and not what they see with their own eyes. When you get to that point where you're trusting a piece of tech and not at all trusting your eyes, even though it is right there in front of you, I think at that point we've reached like a turning point where I think you can go downhill very, very quickly. There's the sensor. That's the stupid, dumbass, idiot sensor.
I mean, it seems like they could just like kick a hole straight to. I mean, I guess it's not always unplugged like that. Maybe.
No, it's sewn.
Like
it's sewn in.
Kick that really hard and break it, but.
Yeah, they give demonstrations with it. It's idiotic, man.
Yeah. So the digital twin thing specifically, I just thought was crazy because, use your imagination a little bit, and you can see how that can be used for evil as well. And there's already the idea of complete digital twins for cities, so that they can do a smart city.
Yep. No, I mean the amount of things they could do with that, like. The better that AI video gets, like I'm never going to be one of these people, but there's going to be plenty of people who would just as soon watch the digital version of Ronaldo and Messi rather than the live action version. And so they're just going to be stealing money from these players at the end of the day.
And then how long before we just watch the fan fiction version where we're like, give me one where Portugal wins. I just want to see that one.
Just kill me, man. Just kill me with that. Golly. Please let that happen after I'm dead.
All right. Well, I guess that was really everything we had. It's been a good conversation through Bitcoin energy bad, AI energy good, space stuff, space weapons, and all the way back to soccer. So
yes, so happy that we covered two of my favorite topics on this episode. I'm very you tailored it correctly, Zach. Good job.
There just happens to be a lot of this going on right now too. But
yeah, very fair. Nice.
All right. Well, any last words? Anything, Elizabeth or Jake?
Yeah. I mean, super stoked to be on the show. I love watching this show. I think it's, we help distribute it on our network, and I think it's crucial to a lot of the surveillance stuff going on, and spreads a lot of great info to a lot of people. So really appreciate y'all having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. It was great to have you here.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back sometime when you're in the studio too. So.
Yes, my God, I'm very sorry for today. It was not anticipated.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. We representing peeps that I'm playing